Are you looking to establish a powerful online presence for your brand? Look no further than Live the Dream Media. Our team of experts possess the capabilities and skills necessary to make it happen. From creating compelling content to analyzing data and making strategic decisions, we've got it covered. Don't let a lack of social media know-how hold you back. Visit ltdmedia.net for more information.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
Hey everybody, it's David Samorano. I'm one of the hosts for the Local Marana podcast, and I want to welcome you back. Today, we're lucky we have representatives of the Watermark retirement communities here. I'm excited to have you, okay? So this all transpired because somebody that we're really close to gave us your card and was like, hey, this would be a great idea to have the Watermark and representatives of it here. Reason being is the impact that it makes on the local community. And, you know, we talk about local businesses a lot here. We talk about small businesses and the impact those have. We recognize that Watermark is nationally known, but the impact that it has here in the local community for family and our loved ones is so important. And I want to talk about that today. And we're going to discuss things, answer some questions, maybe give some information for people listening to go, hey, maybe this is something I should consider for my loved one or myself, right? It's another way to connect with some people. And before we go any further, I want you both to introduce yourselves for the listeners. So I'll start with you.
I'm Leslie Webster. I am the sales director at the Watermark at Continental Ranch.
Nice to meet you, Leslie.
Yes, and my name is Richie Benner. I'm the associate engagement director at the Watermark at Continental Ranch as well.
Well, thank you both for being here this morning. I know that it takes time to go and do this. It's towards the end of the week. Usually some people check out towards the end of the week. You know, they kind of like, hey, I'm already done. I was done on Thursday. I'm out. The weekend started. It's Friday. Let's go. So I want to thank you for being here today. The Watermark and its history are important to this community as well. So we want to cover the history and the Watermark. And you know, I was on the website reading up on it and getting a good idea of what it's about. But I want you guys to cover that today as much as you can for the listeners to consider the place. So I'll start with you, Leslie.
Absolutely. I'd love to. So David Barnes and David Freshwater are the two gentlemen who started Watermark. Okay. They came here to Tucson well over 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. They were building a building. They really, at the time, did not realize that it was going to be a senior living community. Mm-hmm. And there was a real lack of privately owned, private pay mm-hmm. senior living communities mm-hmm. in Tucson. All of them were really run by the city or state, what have you. So when they found out, they kind of started talking amongst themselves about what would they want to see in senior living. Mm-hmm. What would matter to them? What would they want for their parents? So they came up with an operating principle. Their mission statement is to make extraordinary communities where people thrive. Mm-hmm. And that's where everything started. Wow. So from the ground up, they started to build the fountains at La Cholla. Was their very first community here in Tucson.
Interesting. You know, there's a part of that, what you said, that's really, really great. And it's the fact that they came here and they thought about how they could make a difference, not only for themselves and their family, but the whole community as well, seeing what was available.
Absolutely.
But they started with, how do we make it for our family? The love for family, right? Like, it's such an empowering feeling and emotion, and it brings innovation and it brings creation, you know, and it started here.
Yes, and remains here in Tucson. With the Marana location, the Continental Ranch community, we've expanded, and obviously we were the very first senior living community in Marana.
Very first in Marana. That's so cool to know, and it's the buildings are beautiful. Like they're great. So the outside looks really well. I haven't personally been inside, but just seeing them driving by.
I can change that. Come by for a tour.
I would love to. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we covered the history, the mission, and there's one more component. It's the locations. Other than here, how many, because we do have listeners that are outside of Marana that listen to in Oro Valley, Tucson, Phoenix, Gilbert, Queen Creek, right? So what are some other locations you have other than here?
So in Arizona, we have a location in Casa Grande, Kingman, and obviously we have 5 that are within Tucson, the local area. So Marana, Oro Valley, and then we have 3 locations that are technically Tucson addresses. So yeah, it's really great. Okay. And Watermark is growing and expanding all the time. I know that as of right now, we have over 60 communities throughout the United States, California, Florida, Georgia, New York, Texas. It's really, if you go on watermarkcommunities.com, you can really see the map and it'll give you all of those different locations.
That's wonderful. Doing something right.
Oh, absolutely.
Doing something right. Like there's no doubt about it, especially to be growing that much. What can a family expect through Watermark, right? So they're making a decision. Hey, this is a spot that we feel that our loved one would thrive at, as you had talked about. What can they expect?
So, there's a vast variety of things that we do. We obviously provide care. That is our biggest mission, is to, make sure that our residents are well cared for. So we are an assisted living and memory care community at Continental Ranch. So, we do provide 24/7 care for our loved ones, for the residents of the community, but their families can also expect to be able to come and enjoy all of the different activities and amenities that we have at the community. So, the families come in and enjoy meals with our residents. They participate in the numerous activities that we have, from our happy hours every Wednesday to the craft projects, Watermark University classes that we host. So we do a wide variety of things. And what's great is it's not just for the resident. It's for the resident. It's for their families, their friends. Anybody who would like to come to the community, they're also able to enjoy all of that we do.
That is wonderful. Richie, so you talked about engagement, right? You're responsible for engagement. So how are you guys approaching with your engagement with the community? What are you guys doing in the community?
Yeah, great question. We have one of our biggest engagement opportunities in the community is there's a nonprofit that is affiliated with Watermark Retirement Communities. It's called Watermark for Kids. It's their own separate nonprofit organization. And it's in our local communities, it's really 2 avenues that we work primarily on. Number 1 is raising money for the organization, and number 2 is finding local kids in the community to then give money away to, and really providing life-changing opportunities for kids who otherwise wouldn't have opportunities to go to. So we are not going to focus on getting the backpacks or getting the school supplies and things like that. There are many great organizations in the local community that do that. We are focusing on, I just saw today, we have a local elementary school who they are at the Grand Canyon right now enjoying that, 6th grade trip to a place like that. And so if we have a family, a child who is not able to afford to be able to go on a trip like that, that's where Watermark for Kids can come in and say, all right, let's get you there. We know that this has a wide variety of educational opportunities for you and memories that you can make. We want to get you there. And that's where we focus our efforts at, especially with our associates in our community, is how can we create great fundraisers to raise the money, and then how can we then give that money away. And so we've been raising money. Every organization, every Watermark raises money all throughout the year. But what we've been specifically doing is just some fun, simple things. And then we were very blessed this year to then connect with the Marana Unified School District and their resource center. And so our community has pledged $5,000 to the Marana Resource Center, so that way they can then help distribute the money at the local level, at the individual school level. And then Watermark for Kids will match that donation as well. So we're talking, over $10,000 this year back to the Resource Center to help kids all throughout any Marana school district school here. And so having that information allows us to then engage our associates and our residents and say, this is why we are doing this Super Bowl fundraiser. This is why we're doing this bake sale. This is why, because people will give money left and right, but it's the why behind it, the passion behind what we're doing. And while we may not reach a kid, we may not know the kid that we're reaching, the fact that we know that that money's going to go to help that kid again get to Catalina Island, get to the Grand Canyon, go to that Disneyland trip, go to their 8th grade trip to Washington D.C. Like these life-changing opportunities for these kids that could set them down a path of, hey, I want to get more involved in my local politics, or I want to become a marine biologist. We don't know the impact that we're going to have years down the road, but the fact that we're able to start is a big thing for us to have that impact on our local community.
See, this is why we do these, right? There's a lot of people that didn't know that you are affecting the community in such a positive way with that organization and what you're doing. It's incredible. You're working with Marana Unified School District. So there's so much going on outside of the walls in the community with what you're doing. And it's admirable. And I want to say thank you genuinely for doing that. That's so important, taking care of the youth and giving them opportunities that they're not always there for them, right? They don't have the resources. It's such a great thing to share. And I'm glad you guys came on the podcast today to share that. That's so important. I love it. And doing that changes lives. It changes generational perspective. It really does. It's just such an impact. I just can't stop. I can't stop thinking about it. It's so great.
What we also love about that Watermark for Kids is that it is children, I think, from the age of 6 all the way up to 21 or 22 even. So it's not just the younger generation, if you will, super young. We are helping people to, be able to complete schooling and, really, go on to higher education. It really has an impact that, is decades, not just, for the really young children either.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
And oftentimes, a great example of that is the last individual person that we helped was a lady who was going to get her degree to become a teacher. Okay. And so she was working through a local nonprofit, and she lived here in Marana, got connected through to them, and then wind up moving to Chicago with this organization to teach in the inner cities of Chicago to the lower income schools. Wow. And in order to progress in her degree, she needed some financial assistance to stay with the program. And so we provided that Watermark for Kids provided that financial assistance for her to continue her degree. And, so she finished up that year. And then the next year she moved to Washington, D.C. and is doing the exact same thing with this organization. And so even though we talk about a local impact, we have a child, but an older adult who is having a greater impact on a nationwide level through Watermark for Kids, through our organization, by our efforts of raising these monies and supporting these kids. And as we know, especially in the school districts, great quality teachers who care and are compassionate are needed, every day. The teachers are doing a great job now, but there's always a shortage. And so to be able to have that impact for her career, and she's just getting going, but then also have that impact for these kids in Chicago and Washington, D.C., it just brings such a greater, vision to what exactly we're trying to do through Watermark for Kids and through the support that our community is giving that wonderful organization.
Yeah, it goes so much further than even here. We talk about the idea started here, and
Absolutely.
Now it's got a national impact. It's so cool.
Yeah.
And people won't know unless there's a way to communicate it, like the podcasts, and we can send out all kinds of, mailers and other stuff, but this gives people a real direct way to hear about this and contribute to it if they feel they want to do so, which is so great. So let's go back to the Watermark, and let's talk about the available services and programs for an individual that is there? Like, do you guys have programs that they can sign up for and enjoy life and experience and thrive, and have that excitement? What do you got going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. So aside from the 24/7 caregiving, that we always have in the building, we have Watermark University, something I mentioned earlier. And it's probably my favorite of the Watermark programs because it allows for our residents to continue to learn. And it's all kinds of different things. We have someone who comes from the Tucson Art Museum who is a docent and does a monthly talk, and she'll pick an artist or an art technique. I know in February we did the art of Elvis Presley.
Oh,
and
nice.
It was very interesting, poignant because, the Elvis movie had recently come out. And we also have docents from the Desert Museum, Tohono Chul, who come to the community and give lectures and talks. But our residents are allowed to teach classes.
Oh,
And
nice.
It is very cool to see someone come in and talk about their passion, whether it's a hobby, it was a career, it's really awesome. We have a resident that was a detective in Indiana. And he came in, and it was standing room only. Residents and their families came to hear this presentation that he gave. We have a resident who moved in, and we knew him as a farmer. That was his career. But we learned that he was an amazing artist, and he had all of this rope art that he had made over years and years. And he came and did a Watermark University, and by the end, our residents were bidding on pieces. They were trying to buy.
Turned into an auction.
It was really amazing, but that's why I love Watermark University, because it is so different in every community, because it's all about your residents' interests and what they want to learn, what they want to share. Even our associates teach Watermark University classes. Richie has taught a class.
Richie. All right.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just a great opportunity for the residents to be able to share and learn. We do extraordinary outings. So it's an opportunity to take the residents. We went to Picacho Peak about a week and a half ago.
Awesome.
So we'll do different picnics and outings. We go and visit the local breweries and wineries as well. We're trying to, continue to share, because so many of our residents come from out of state.
Yeah.
So kind of getting them out and learning about Marana and learning about Tucson and being able to enjoy nature and all that there is here to offer. I love Marana. And so to be able to share that with the residents is just amazing.
Yeah. There's so much to do here and see. So when you guys went to Picacho, did you catch some of the bloom?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yes, there are some amazing pictures. They were able to get there, obviously, even still now, hasn't dried up too much. So, yeah, it was beautiful.
Oh,
When you talk about all the different things that are available in Tucson and Marana, and I joke with our residents all the time, they have a way more impactful social life than I do right now.
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking at the calendar, I'm like, oh, they get to go to the casino. They'll go to various museums. They went to the Neon Light Museum. They've been to the Miniature Museum. They've been to, all these different places. And I'm like, I haven't even been to these places. And I'm a native Tucsonan. And I'm like,
I have not. Where's the Neon Light?
Like, can I
Museum?
please join
Hold
you
on.
guys? So we talk about the innovation and we talk about the amazing opportunities. And it's really, that's what Watermark's vision is all about, is creating these communities where they are specific to the individuals who live in the community. And it's just amazing to see all the various opportunities that they get to do, the Watermark universities, even down to, we have an Engage VR program. And so we get to, we have an Oculus virtual reality system.
Okay. Yeah.
And so these things that their grandchildren or great-grandchildren might be experiencing or they really want as a Christmas present, we have at our community. And they're able to put it on. We ask people, where do you want to go? And they say, here's this address. What is that address? Oh, that's my home address from when I was a kid. And so we get to see, especially, Leslie talks about all these residents who come from all across the country, and we get to see what their home life was like. Where did they grow up? Where was the local park? And things like that, and things that we never would have been able to see before. But because of this innovation that Watermark prides itself on, we have these types of programs that just the possibilities are endless.
Yeah. Thank you for covering that, because this is a personal feeling for me, and I'm sure some people can relate that are listening. When you're thinking about a community such as this, like Watermark, one of the things that it's at the forefront of the thought process is the fear of them being isolated, right? Because I think that's a fear for a lot of us, is like, what if I was in that person's shoes, that fear of isolation, not having anything to do, right? Just stuck in a room, getting checked on every hour or half hour, right? Because there is there's speculation of stuff like that happen, and it's just natural, right? People give their opinions, they give ratings, they fill out surveys and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Covering that and knowing that there's so much to do, and you said yourself, you're like, I haven't even done most of these programs. I didn't even know there was a neon light. I didn't know there was a miniature museum, right? So there's all kinds of stuff and fun going on, and they continue to thrive, like you said. The university, the piece that you have there, it really does reassure people, as myself. We have some family members that are elderly, and we've had conversations where we're like, well, where can we get them where they are going to thrive, where they're not stuck in this mode of, I miss this, and there's no moving on from it, right? It's really, really hard. It's a really hard thing to navigate too, as a family. And
I think it's a big part of what drives family members to look into communities is that concern about, is my loved one doing well at home? That isolation, a lot of times, when our loved ones hit a certain age, they're not driving any longer. Mm-hmm. So, the family's bringing them their necessities, they're grocery shopping for them and doing these things, but that socialization isn't there anymore. Yeah. They get that loved one for, however long they're at their home, bringing them their necessities, but they're not getting that daily, that constant socialization and stimuli that we all need. It's not just our seniors, obviously. And so when family members are starting to look, that's, to them, it's a big part of it. Where's my loved one going to be able to socialize and engage? And so in a community like ours, typically all 3 meals are a huge socialization opportunity for every resident because they're dining together. Yeah. We have a main dining room, and it's like going out to a restaurant. We have delightful servers that come to the table and take orders from the menu, but they have that opportunity. They're meeting their neighbors, they're talking, about their grandchildren and children and where they are from, what they've done. So it's a great opportunity also to have that socialization, not just the wonderful programs that we offer. It's, also those meal times every day.
Wow. Yeah. So much to offer. It is great. So how do people get a hold of Watermark in the best way? What's the best way to reach out? They've had this conversation that we're talking about. Hey, how are we going to deal with the fear of the isolation? I wanted to know what kind of programs they have. I'm good with this. I want to get a hold of the Watermark. Where are they going? What links they clicking? Who they calling? Absolutely. So obviously, we have a phone number that you can call, locally, which is 520-789-6690. That is our main number. I am the sales director, so typically you'll talk to me or my associate Patty Nations, who is just a wonderful part of our team. And we'll set up a time for you to come in and really get that one-on-one experience to learn about what we do, and so that we, more importantly, can learn about your loved one. It's really about the individual, and it's about what is going to make them thrive. And we say that over and over again, what makes people thrive, but it's different for every person. That's important, yeah. Yeah, so having that individualized tour, that ability to come in and learn about what we do and specifically what's going to benefit your loved one, that's what that process is really all about. And so, we do try to make that, very personal when people come to the community, to have that ability to, visit and learn about all the things that we do there. So, and then we also obviously have a website at watermarkcommunities.com/Continental Ranch would be for our specific community. So you can obviously find us on Google and everything as well. And our ratings are all on there, so you can see all about the great experiences that the families are having at our community as well. That's great. That's great. Richie, you got anything to add on that? Is there any other way to... Well, let's talk about how I reach out to. We're on Facebook. We're on social media, things like that. But giving us a call. The best thing that an individual can do is just, either Google or phone call or the website, and just, take that chance. Just
reach out, take a tour. The best
Pop
thing.
in.
Yeah,
You want
you can
to,
walk
stop
in.
by.
Yeah, you don't have to
Yes.
call. Absolutely, we do
Right.
walk-in tours all the time. And one of the biggest compliments we get is individuals walk in and they just see how bright and engaging our community is. And to your point, people don't really think about it. They're worried. There is this negative stigma behind senior living and assisted living and nursing homes, and then even going back in this 80s and 90s. Just I don't want my mom, my grandma to be sitting in a room just waiting for someone to come by to give her meds and her meals, and she sits in front of a TV all day. Like, that's not what active senior living is like. These days. And so I tell people, just come on in, take a tour, figure out what works best for you. And one of the best things about Watermark as a whole is one of our operating principles is to do the right thing. And so if you come on in and we're able to personalize that tour and get to know your loved one, and it turns out that your loved one maybe we're not able to provide the services that they need. Leslie and her team aren't going to be like, all right, see you, have a great day, and kick you to the curb, right? That's not what Watermark is about.
Yeah.
Watermark is about doing the right thing and say, okay, while we know that you may not be a fit for our community based upon your individualized needs,
Right.
let's put you in contact with someone else. Let's make sure that you have the resources available to you to make the best decision for you and your family. And I think that's what sets us apart.
Yeah.
And that's why we encourage people to come on in, because we're not, Leslie and her team have a job to do, and we all do, in every facet of our life, but we're really focusing on what is the right thing to do for that individual person, and whether that's our community, a different community, even a competitor's community. It's what David and David have stressed from day one, and that's why go to any water community, take a look, come to Marana. We're one big family, and we're going to take care of you, and we're going to give you the best advice that we can give you based upon your individualized needs.
Love it. Okay, let's get funny now. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're gonna get funny. Have you seen Happy Gilmore?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You remember where he takes his mom for the retirement community
Yes.
she's in?
Yes. Yeah.
And Ben Stiller. This is not that at all.
Not even
So-
close. No.
No.
Yeah. No. Comic relief. That's what the point of that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, very, very different. We have wonderful care associates and people who honestly become family. That's another thing that I love about the community where we're located. We're in Continental Ranch. We're part of that neighborhood. And when you walk in, you get that family vibe.
Yeah.
We're a small enough community where we know you when you walk in. We know the family members of our residents, and we greet them by name. And so we're really able to, have that family feel. And so that's a big part of what we're trying to accomplish, is for everybody to walk in and feel like, it's family, kind of like Cheers. You walk in and everybody knows your name.
I love that show.
Yes. So that's what
best.
our goal is. And, it's really a great feel when you come to the community.
Well, it's amazing. We had our second child, me and my wife, in 2021, and I hadn't told anyone outside of a couple of individuals, in the community, to say, hey, FYI, I'm not going to be here next week. We're going in to have our second child. And so I was out for a couple days, and by the time I came back that next week, I had half of our residents asking me for photos. Like, oh, congratulations, I heard you had a kid. I'm like, I've only told 2 people. How did this get around so fast? But it goes back to that family. I was walking through the dining room the other day, last week, and I had one of the residents who's been with us for a couple of years. She's like, hey, you haven't given me any photos in a while. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I keep forgetting. And so I sat down, flipped through my phone, like, oh, here's my kid. He's doing T-ball. My other kid's walking, And so, like, she, as a resident, has only known me for, 2 years. But cares enough to want to know what's going on with my family and how my kids are growing up and what they're doing, and it's that type of family atmosphere that I said it feels so warm and so welcome. But I mean, it truthfully is. I mean, it's not just words that we're saying. It's a feeling that you get when you walk in, when you get to talk to the residents, you get to learn about them. We have a Ripples program, which is all about creating meaningful connections with individuals. And so we have stories of, down to the simplest things. We had a resident walk in, and every Friday we do ice cream sundaes for our residents.
Nice.
One of our servers asked why this resident wasn't having an ice cream sundae. Go, I don't really like vanilla. Oh, well, it's your favorite ice cream. Or Rocky Road. Like, okay, that's good to know. And so the next week on Friday, that server went down to the local, grocery store and bought a pint of Rocky Road ice cream. So on that Friday, when it was time for ice cream sundae, she could then give that resident, a Rocky Road ice cream sundae, all because of making that connection with her. And so that's the type of family that we have and we continue to build at Continental Ranch.
It's very meaningful. Very meaningful. You said something, so I'm gonna get you right now, okay? Because you said you're a dad.
Yes.
So, do you got a dad joke?
Oh, I don't. However, my best friend works there, and he is the dad joke expert, and so I default to him.
You default to him?
Yeah, we have a meeting every day at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he has a joke every single day ready to go. So, I'm a horrible bad dad joke teller.
Yeah, but if Tony was here, he would be telling a fabulous dad joke.
Well, we'll have to get Tony on here at some point, maybe within the next year. So
He's already
we'll
been.
Get you guys back on here.
Yeah, we were listening to the podcast this morning, and he was looking in. And it's like, oh, we could create a podcast, Richie, and we could go there and we can record it, and we can do this and we can do that. So I poked my head to the other room, and I was like, oh, he would geek out on all this equipment in this room because
you said that when Tony would.
Yeah, he's like he would love this place. So I'm not a good bad dad joke person. He's a great bad dad joke person.
It was worth a shot. So I'll give you one. Okay, I'll give the listeners one since we didn't get one from Richie, and that's okay. You already let us know who to go to. How do you put together a space party?
Space party.
Any guesses? You plan it. You plan it.
Oh, that reminds me of a joke.
Actually,
I do have a bad dad joke because Tony told it to me this morning. He said, what do you call a feud? And this is a day late and $1 short. Okay. What do you call a feud between two celebrities?
Don't know.
Star Wars.
Oh,
I said it was a day late. Should have been on May the 4th.
That was bad.
It was bad.
It was good.
Yes.
Bad was good. Thank you for that. See, I knew one would show up eventually.
I had one.
Do you have one, Leslie?
Oh, no. Sorry. Not a joke teller.
I told you.
Cut it off. Stop recording.
We know who the expert is, and that's Tony. Everyone's got their own expertise, and that is his.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast with us. If you're looking to listen to more, go to localmiranda.com, or you can find us on Spotify. Local Miranda is doing a lot more than just the podcast. We have a lot of community involvement. We have a lot of local businesses that are involved with our website and what we're doing, how we're promoting each other, spreading the word, sharing experiences, sharing events. Our key element that people might not be aware of is our Facebook community that exists. You can go on there. Ask for approval to get in there. Make sure you answer the questions correctly. They are vetted. Get in there. We like people to share their experiences. If you're at the Watermark and you want to share your experience of the Watermark, get in there, share your experience. We look for recommendations, and we like to promote things that are coming up. We like to work with the town of Marana, Parks and Recreation as well in there. Get in there, have fun, meet people. This podcast will be shared in there.
Perfect.
We want you to have a great time. And, we want to thank Live the Dream Media for putting this whole production together. If you're looking for help with advertising, if you want to be on Hulu, you want to be on Spotify, and you want to be on other platforms that are digital, reach out to Live the Dream Media, ltdmedia.net. You can find a contact form, fill it out, and reach out to them. Again, it was a pleasure having you here. We look forward to getting this out and sharing it. We will be making some reels on Instagram and stuff that are going to be a little
fun.
Getting that jab joke's going to be on there.
Can I make one quick plug before we go?
Absolutely. Yes.
Wonderful.
Add anything you would like to.
We are hosting a resizing to moving seminar on the 16th of May.
Okay.
It is going to be from 2 to 3 p.m. We're going to have a local realtor as well as a soup to nuts moving company.
Right on.
Kind of comes in, organizes, moves, and sets up your apartment. We're just going to be sharing information. You're going to be able to learn about things you need to do to get your house on the market, and a little bit about the community as well. And it's going to be hosted at the community in our theater. We're located at 8689 North Silverbell in Marana.
Awesome. And do you guys have a registration link or something for that? Or is
You
it
would
just
actually have to call the main number
Okay.
to RSVP, and we'll get you on our list. And we're looking forward to seeing lots of people from the community coming in and visiting us. And we're going to be doing a car show for Father's Day in June. We're going to have a discovery luncheon in August. You know, we do things on a monthly basis. We love to be a resource for people in the community. So lots of good things happening at the community. So.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. We appreciate your time, listeners. Again, go to localmarana.com. Find the businesses that are involved. Have a good one.
Thank you for having us.